Hi there, welcome to the Knits and Beads podcast. My name is Lorelei Erdo. This is episode 29, and today is Monday, October 18th, I believe. That's a guess. When I heard a lot of people talking after Knit City in Canada, what was that, like a week or two ago, about how they had a total yarn hangover. That's me today after a long whirlwind weekend at Rhinebeck, and I'll talk more about that at the end of the episode and show you what I bought there. It was a fun time. It's been a while since my last recorded episode. Just was thinking about doing an episode last week, and then it just didn't happen. So here I am today. And when I was thinking about it last week, I thought, did I talk about my poncho that I finished yet? And I had to go back and look, and I'm like, I never talked about my poncho. So that's my first finished object today, is my poncho. I'll also get into that. So you can find me on the internet on Ravelry and Instagram as Lorelei Erto. I'm on Facebook as Lorelei Hill Erto. Please feel free to friend me there. And I sell my handmade jewelry in my Etsy store, which is loreleierdojewelry.etsy.com. And then I also have some bags and jewelry rolls that I've been sewing and more jewelry at my website, loreleierdojewelry.com. So check those out if you want to see what I make. So let's see. I don't even know what to start with. I have some show notes here. I guess I'll jump right into my finished objects. So this is my Boden poncho. I wore this on Saturday to the Rhinebeck Woolen Sheep Festival, and I got so many nice compliments on it, which was really awesome. I got stopped by so many people asking me what the poncho was called and where they could find the pattern, and so thank you, Nice and Knit girls, for making such a beautiful pattern, and I completely chalked you up all weekend long at Rhinebeck, and hopefully you'll be seeing a bunch of poncho pattern sales because of it. So I finished this about a week before Rhinebeck, I believe. It took me a couple weeks to finish, I believe. The yarn I used, the green is Logan Circle from Neighborhood Fiber Company, and they were at Rhinebeck actually. I didn't shop at their booth this year. The ivory cream is from Nice and Knit, and I believe it's called, well, details will be down in the show notes because I can't remember, and I didn't write that down. The pink is Madeline Tosh Cherry Blossom, I believe. The burgundy doesn't have a color name, but it's from Scandinavian Weave and Knit. The dark purple is from Mrs. Crosby Plays, and that is Steamer Trunk. And the color is something like Aubergine. Midnight Aubergine, I believe. Yeah. Really fun pattern. I was a little nervous as I was knitting that it was going to fit me because all this color work, and I thought it was going to be tight in the shoulders, but it really wasn't tight. It's not tight at all. It fits great. I knit the large size. There are three different sizes to choose from in the pattern. And I love it. I want more ponchos because I really love the way it felt to wear it. It's very comfortable. It's nice and warm. After a full day of wearing it though, I was really feeling it in my shoulders. Like after a while, it just got really heavy. I mean, I was lugging around shopping bags full of yarn too, so I'm sure that had something to do with it, but it does get a little heavy after a while. And if you're not used to having that kind of weight on your shoulders, I just felt like I was carrying a backpack all day. I didn't really have any major problems with this pattern, although you can kind of see the seam on the back. It's not seamed, it's just when I knit in the round, for some reason I kept getting, because I was alternating skeins of yarn, because the two skeins of the neighborhood fiber company that I had bought last year at Rhinebeck were just slightly different. One was a little darker than the other, so I was kind of alternating them every 2 rows, and that is probably, I kind of figured that maybe that was the problem, so I started alternating every row, and that helped a lot, but I didn't start that until I was almost to the ribbing. So it's not a huge issue. The other issue that I had, which was a rookie mistake because obviously I'm not familiar with doing a lot of color work, is when I was weaving in the ends. Yeah, that didn't work out very well. I'm not sure what happened. I decided to not follow through with all of the weaving in the ends and just clipped the ends, and what happened with that was that they started popping out of the color work. So after I had blocked it, so I ended up having to do that again. Had to like tie yarn back onto the ends and then weave them in and kind of knot them in so that they didn't pop out anymore. So it's fixed. It's okay. I learned a big fat lesson in that, but I just thought, oh, they look secure. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. So inexperienced. But anyway, I have entered this into a couple of stranded knit-alongs that are happening. I believe one of them is being hosted by the Sockmatician, Nathan. His podcast group is on Ravelry. And I also submitted it to, I believe, KT of the Inside Number 23 is also having a color work knit-along this month. And then I was feeling like I wasn't done with the color work. So I ended up doing a pair of mitts that just recently came out. Do you remember my long shawl that I finished in my last episode? It was the Camp Wilkerson shawl with the gray and light gray and dark gray stripes and then gold and teal. It's color work. That was from Boyland to Knitworks, and she has developed a cute little mitts pattern, and I finished those too. So I have 2 finished objects this week. These turned out so great. I love them. So these are called the Oulu mitts. That's O-U-L-U. Again, it's under the Boyland Knitworks. She has a Ravelry page of her designs. As you can see, they kind of match my poncho because I used more of that neighborhood fiber company in Logan Circle and more of the pink, which is the Sugar Plum by Madeline Tosh Vintage. And then the white is, it's not the Nice and Knit from the poncho. The white on this is Plucky Knitter, which is left over from my Camp Wilkerson shawl. So really fun pattern. This is some nice corrugated ribbing and some stranded color work. And then the back side is very cool. Also, these are really easy to knit. I knit these on circular needles, I believe size 7, I think. I did block them also, which just kind of helped all of the stitches lay nice and smoothly. I'll put them on. My left-handed mitt, when I put it on, I have a little bit of trouble with my ring catching on the color work, so I usually move my diamond to the inside so that it doesn't snag any of the strands on the inside, but here they are. Yay! I love them. Great pattern, really easy. It didn't take me too long. The second mitt went a little slower just because, you know, it's kind of like second sock syndrome. After the first mitt was done, I was like kind of over it, but I powered through and got them done. And I did have those on also at Rhinebeck and got a lot of compliments on these too. So, and they kind of match my nail color. So 2 finished objects for the week. Yay! Yeah, if you have any questions about the pattern, please feel free to ask me, but I think that you'll definitely want to knit these. They were so fun. And one of my photos, when I was working on them, Caitlin asked to feature it on the project page, which was exciting for me. So you can kind of see them there. But I've also entered these into the Stranded Knit Along. I think on the Sockmatician. I might have not entered my poncho in Katie's. The poncho was, I made the poncho for the Nice and Knit Along because they had a pretty poncho knit along, and that ends at the end of this month. So that was the reason I made the poncho. But a lot of color work projects or knit alongs happening right now, which is fun. I need to take a color work break though, because I'm working on a couple of other things with several colors, and I really right now just want to make like a shawl with one color with one ball of yarn, because it gets kind of crazy after a while. So I'll talk about my works in progress. Maybe I'll talk about a couple of bags first that I sewed up. These are listed on my website. They're kind of fun, so I thought I'd show them. This is a nice little like clutch. And this fabric is one that I got from that shop in Vermont when I went to Burlington. It's called Nido, N-I-D-O. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but they have a great selection of fabrics. And this particular fabric is from Skinny Lemmings. A little woven handle on there. And then the interior, I chose this pale green kind of Queen Anne's lace. I got this in a fat quarter set on Etsy. And I actually added a little pocket here for incidentals or, you know, your lip balm. And then I had wanted to play around with more of this material. And I just wish, I mean, the photos and the video just don't do this stuff justice. It is so nice. It is so soft. It's got a little bit of a herringbone pattern on it. It's really a thick material, but my seams ended up turning out really good on this. This is a project bag, also available on my website. It's got a little woven tag, teal zipper, and then the interior is this fun floral. I found this on the clearance rack at Joann Fabrics. Isn't it pretty? It's got like these really funky modern flowers on it. I thought it was really fun. A nice medium size for a shawl. Maybe a 2 skein project, I guess. I don't know. So those are actually finished objects. I'll talk about my works in progress. I'm still working on this Stephen West shawl. This is Vertices Unite, and I've got to the widest section on this first wedge. You can see it's gotten quite big. This yarn is really fun. It's Dream in Color Classy with cashmere, so it's really soft. So now I got to the widest part, and now I'm going to start increasing into a kind of a point. And then I can finally start the second wedge, which I still haven't decided what color I'm going to use. But this is kind of a fun pattern that is great for scraps. So this is the wedge I'm working on now, and then the next one I work on is this. So it's striped. And I'm not sure yet exactly what colors I'm going to use in the next wedge. I've got my colors chosen here, but I don't know. I don't know yet. I've got gray and green and kind of a muted teal. And I've got this kind of off-white color and that color and that color. That's really all I have to say about that. It's that's my long-term project that I kind of just work on when I'm not working on anything else. As some of you probably know or are participating in the Stephen West Mystery Knit-Along, I have been working on that diligently. We just got clue number 2 this past Friday. I'm using Other Kingdoms yarn, Madeline Tosh Merino Light. Also using, this is all on my project page also, you can find out color names. This is Manos del Uruguay, and this is Madeline Tosh Euro Sock. So, I've never done brioche before, and the next section of this shawl pattern has brioche, 2-color brioche, and I'm just diving right in because that's how I operate. So, no, I did not practice. I am watching Stephen's very good videos on how to do it, and I've gotten through a couple of rows so far, and I'm to the point now where I need to start, I think, increasing. But here it is so far. You can kind of see how my colors are playing together. Pretty. So I've started the brioche with the red and the dark teal. It's fun. It's fun, fun, fun. I don't want to say too much about it in case you guys don't really want to know before you are working on yours, but I'm sure everybody's already been working on theirs. I'm a little behind actually on this next clue, but it's okay. I'm gonna work more on it when I have some quiet time, because that's the thing I'm learning with brioche, is that you have to really pay attention with no distractions. So hopefully I will find some time to do that later. So those are my works in progress. I'll talk a little bit about an upcoming project that I want to do. Well, there's a few, but my husband's asked me to knit him a hat, and he picked out the pattern himself, and I bought yarn at Rhinebeck for it, and he loved the color that I picked out, so that's exciting, and I'll show that in a little bit. But this is the hat that he chose. This is a hat by Woolly Wormhead, and it's called the Chunkeanie. So it's kind of a chunky beanie. Joe really liked it because it doesn't look tight. He doesn't like tight hats. So I had trouble finding yarn for this project because my husband is now shaving his head, so I didn't want it to be itchy on him. And a lot of wool, you know, I was looking at a lot of the rustic wool. He wanted something gray. So then I stopped looking at the rustic stuff because it didn't look like it was going to be comfortable on his head. And I ended up finding some other stuff that will be really soft, I think. So I'm excited to get started on that for him. This is the first time he's ever asked me to knit him anything, so I'm kind of happy about that, and I hope he likes the hat that I make him, so then I can possibly do more stuff for him in the future. All right, so I'll talk a little bit about my new acquisitions that I got, not particularly related to Rhinebeck yet. I ordered some yarn from a dyer out of Maine, and I hadn't ever tried her yarn before, but I've seen it around on Instagram and on a couple of other podcasts. I know my friend Nancy of Round Rabbit, who went with me to Rhinebeck, by the way, she has used this yarn and is really, really enjoying it. She's actually knitting some socks with it right now. So I started following Rachel of On the Round on Instagram, and about a week ago she posted a beautiful picture of something she was working on in one of her colorways called Mavis, and I just fell in love. It was just so beautiful, multicolored, speckled, and gorgeous. So I ordered 2 skeins, and it arrived, and I am so happy. It is so pretty. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. And it's really lofty. This is a fingering weight, and it's pretty lofty. So this is her everyday fingering weight superwash merino wool. Like I said, she dyes all of her yarn in Maine, and it's called Mavis, and it's 2-ply, 425 yards. Recommended needle size is a 2, US 2. So I bought 2 skeins because that's going to be like $850, I think, 850 yards, and that's going to be fun as a shawl. I'm going to make a shawl. I haven't picked it out yet, but it's going to be awesome. So very excited about that. I will absolutely be ordering from On the Round again in the future. She has wonderful customer service, which I really admire. So thank you, Rachel. I love it. Oh, I forgot to grab that. Rachel also sent me a little mini skein, a little skein. And this is Whisper. The color is Whisper. And it's also a fingering weight. I believe it's the same. I think it's coordinating in case I wanted to do socks. It's pretty little mint green color. I did a swap with Stacy of Stress Knits. She was talking about wanting to try some more Brooklyn Tweed, the fingering weight that they sell. I believe is called Shelter, maybe. Loft. I can't remember, but I had some. I wasn't digging it, and I had already caked it up, and so I ended up sending it to her, and she asked me what I wanted, and I said, you know, maybe something multicolored, because she was like, can I trade you for some of my hand-dyed yarn? And I said, absolutely, because I can't touch it in the update. It's just so crazy, the updates she has, because everybody loves her and her yarn. So she sent me a skein of her favorite sock base, which is 80/20 superwash merino nylon, 400 yards, and this is it. So it's kind of blowing out from the light. Ooh. Ooh. There you go. So it's kind of creamy. It's got some yellow and lots of speckles with teal, pink. The color name is Eat Rainbows Poop Butterflies, that's hilarious. So thank you, Stacy. It's so soft. Oh my gosh. This is going to be great paired with a darker color. I don't typically knit a lot with these lighter pastel tones, but I think it'll be really nice paired with another color. Ooh, look at that. Gets kind of saturated in there. I haven't looked at the whole skein and like undone the skein because I can't redo the skein. I can't. It's a mess after that. So I don't know if I'm getting sick or if this is an allergy thing, but I have been sneezing all morning long, like over and over and over again. It's crazy. I was sneezing at the gym on the treadmill and I thought I was going to fall off the treadmill a couple times. So about a week ago, I placed an order. Hearing Chrissy of Manic Pearl talk about, she has a podcast. Is it called Manic Pearl? I don't think it is. It used to be called Snappy Stitches. If that's no longer correct, I'm sorry, Chrissy. But she was talking about this book she got in City. And once I saw it, I was like, I need to have that. So this is Shawl Joy by Sylvia McFadden. I haven't knit any of Sylvia's patterns yet, but the book is gorgeous. And then Sylvia McFadden is her real name. Bobilbia is her Ravelry name, I believe. Sylvia Bobilbia. Look how beautiful this book is. This is a self-published book. It's gorgeous. And I ordered it from her Etsy store, and I sent her a little message and said, would you mind signing my book for me? And she's like, oh my God, I'm so flattered. Of course I will. So she wrote a little note in there for me. And this is just beautiful, this book. I love shawls. I love that she includes a couple of different shaped shawls in this book and shawls to accommodate every gauge of yarn, which is also really nice. So I'm really looking forward to looking into doing one of these patterns very soon. She also includes written instructions and charted instructions, which is also wonderful when you're looking at any patterns. I like that option a lot. I recommend it. It's beautiful. And it really didn't take that long to get to me. I was worried because Sylvia is in Canada, but it took about a week. That was not bad. Okay, so I talked about Joe's hat. All right, so Rhinebeck. I met Nancy there on Saturday morning. We planned it just right, got there both right at 10 o'clock. It's not a far drive from me. It's about 2.5 hours, a very easy drive. Saturday morning was extremely foggy though, and that was a little bit scary. At certain points I thought, this is like whiteout conditions, you know, when you're in the middle of a snowstorm and you can't see like 20 feet in front of you. That was me on the highway going 70 miles an hour. Yeah, it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but I made it. I made it there. Finally the fog burnt off. So we ended up getting there right at the same time. And when I pulled in the parking lot, I remember last year I had parked and we went in, and when we came out to find our cars, we couldn't find our cars. The parking lot at Rhinebeck is so huge, and like it's just a sea of cars everywhere. And there's not too many identifying things to help you find it. So we were, I was hitting my lock button and it kept doing its beeping, and I kept trying to find it that way. That was hard. I made a joke to Nancy that I was going to make a little pom-pom and tie it to the top of my antenna just to see. And then I also thought, what if I brought like a helium balloon? And then I'm like, that's kind of ridiculous. So when I pulled in, they parked me right next to this little trio of 3 trees in the middle of the parking lot. Like, there's my identifier, and then I knew exactly where to go. So yay for that little bit of luck when I got there. It was a gorgeous day, absolutely beautiful. We had the best time ever, as we always do together. We spent the morning shopping. This year was a little different than last year because last year I was very new at knitting and I didn't really know what I was buying or what I should buy, and I didn't have any patterns picked out in my head, and I didn't have any I want. I just bought willy-nilly, and I still am looking at that yarn that I bought last year and I'm like, why did I buy some of this stuff? So this year, not only was I making smarter decisions, but obviously I was on a different kind of budget than I was last year also. So smaller budget really makes you think about what it is you're buying. And that was kind of a good thing. So then we ate lunch around 11 o'clock, and at 1 they had a big podcasters meetup. So I definitely wanted to check that out because there are, and Nancy did too, because we're both podcasting and we both watch a lot of the same podcasts ourselves. So of course there were people that we definitely wanted to see while we were there. A couple of highlights from our trip. Couple of people that I really wanted to meet, that I was really, really excited to meet, and then some surprise introductions that I wasn't expecting, which was great. I met, first of all, we met a wonderful podcast viewer, Barbara Coln. Barbara has a podcast herself called Flame and Fiber Podcast, and she came up to both of us and noticed Nancy right away, and she had just started watching Nancy's podcast, so there was lots of oohing and eyeing and yay for podcasting, and she gave us little gifts. She gave us little stitch markers that she had made. She is a lampwork glass artist, so thank you, Barbara, for that. That was really, really super sweet of you, and it was so nice to meet you in person, and I hope that you continue watching both of our podcasts, and I'm looking forward to checking yours out as well, so that was really fun. Another person that I got to meet was Nicole of the Gentle Knitter podcast, and she's as lovely as she is in her podcast. Absolutely stunningly beautiful and so friendly and wonderful, and I was able to give her a big hug, and it was so nice. Just I kind of stopped her in the midst of all the people, and I, gushed a little bit, and I just couldn't help it. I just really love her podcast, and she was very, very, very gracious. So it was beautiful meeting her. I also gave wicked big hugs to Jacqueline Salem of the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast. I've been watching her podcast from the very beginning, and I love that girl to death. I wish I had had more time to chit-chat with her. I actually didn't talk to her at the podcasting meetup just because there was so many people around her every minute. I didn't want to pull her away from her fans, but I did see her while we were out shopping, so that was awesome. And I warned her ahead of time that I hope she was going to be able to forgive me if I come running at her with arms wide open for a big hug, and she came running at me, so it was awesome. It was nice to see her and meet her and see her in person, and she's beautiful and awesome as you would ever imagine her to be. Her podcast is exactly how she is in real life, so love her. I also got to meet Andy of Andre Sue Knits, which was awesome. Andy is hilariously funny. We had a lot of laughs the few minutes that we got to chat with her, and we are looking forward to possibly going to Baltimore for a yarn festival in the spring, and I hope that we'll get to spend some more time with Andy, because not only was she lovely, but her children were there, and they were beautiful and lovely. and her husband Corey was there filming, and we had fun kind of hopping into Corey's camera lens every now and then, so I'm sure some of the footage is going to be me and Nancy hooting it up in front of Corey's camera, which we're not normally camera hogs, but apparently that day we were. It was funny. It was funny. And Corey was really great and chit-chatted with us for a while, and just so friendly, and they're just awesome people, I'm telling you. Shortly after that, I got to meet Eric of the Sticks Plus Twine podcast. He came down all the way from Toronto. That is a trip. That is a trip. But you know what? Rhinebeck is definitely worth it. It is worth that trip. It's worth it, even if it's 2.5 hours or even if it's 10 hours. So it was really nice to meet him. We didn't get to chat too much, but he actually came with a friend of his who is Ramona, and I was happy to meet Ramona because I had met Ramona during the virtual knit night that I had attended about a week or so ago. That's hosted by Shannon of the Socksetra podcast. She has been hosting a little virtual knit night, which if you're interested in joining us in the future, be sure to follow Shannon on Periscope. I believe it might be Shannon Fisher or Shannon Mariah. If not, she may announce them on her her Ravelry page, her Instagram. And she's Shannon Mariah on Instagram, I believe. But Periscope is when she normally does a little announcement, and you'll see it usually in the title. It says Virtual Knit Night. So I had been able to chat with Ramona there, and then I ran into her at the podcasting meetup, and it was lovely to hug her and see the sweater she had made for the show, and to chat with her a little bit. And I wish we had had more time to hang out, but that's the way these shows go. It's kind of a whirlwind. So, and then also finally I got to meet Jenny and Devin of the Handmade and Woolen podcast. Devin, you may have already heard, has gotten together with Eric and has created Rib Magazine, which is a magazine for men's knitting patterns. So that's very exciting. And it was nice to meet them. They came from Vermont, and we were chatting with them a little bit, and apparently they had pre-ordered a fleece from one of the vendors, and they were there to pick up their fleece. How exciting is that? So it was nice to see a lot of people. I saw a few podcasters that I was familiar with from afar, like Gabby of Once Upon a Corgi. I didn't get to chat with her just because it was just crazy. Also, Kristen of Woolen was there, and that was nice to kind of see her from afar. Also, very busy chatting up all of her fans. So can't wait till next year. I cannot wait till next year. Unfortunately, after day one, we left and got stuck in traffic for... It took us an hour and a half to go 1.5 miles. That gives you any clue as to the hell we were in. That was awful. I'm glad I didn't A, have to pee, or B, have a stomach ache, or... It was just inconvenient all the way around, just because it took forever to get back to our hotel. And then by the time we got there, we were starved, and we were going to go to one of our favorite restaurants in the area. And we were like, you know what, let's just eat downstairs at the hotel. So we ended up eating at the steakhouse downstairs. It was actually really good. So it was nice not to have to drive anymore. And then we ate, and we stayed up chatting, and we did not knit, but we just chatted and fell asleep fairly early, 10 o'clock. That night there was a virtual knit night that unfortunately I missed, which was a bummer. But I was just dead. I was dead. I could barely stay awake until 10. So we went to bed, and then Sunday morning we ate breakfast and went back to Rhinebeck for day 2. We ate lunch and then left the show after that. So into the good stuff and show you what I bought while I was there. The first thing I bought was a skein of yarn from a dyer who does hand spun. And I bought a couple skeins from her last year also. And I saw this skein, and actually it ended up being cool that it was a one of a kind. And I only bought the one, but I just loved the colors. This is Feederbrook Farm. And it's the Entropy. It's blue-faced Leicester wool. And the colorway is New Spec. This is 260 yards. Hand dyed. Isn't it lovely? Oh, I just love it. I'm thinking fingerless mitts for this. This is the fingering base. And last year I bought the worsted, I believe. So that was my first purchase. And then my second purchase was a bit bigger. I went to Harrisville Designs, and we both fell in love with this booth. They had Brooklyn Tweed there. And then also they had their own Harrisville line of yarns. Rustic wool, lovely, awesome. But we went there twice, okay, so I won't show you that yet. The first time we went, I picked out yarn for Joe's hat. And this is what I got, Quarry. This is the slate color. Joe wanted gray. This is a single ply. Chunky weight. 200 yards. And it's really nice. It's created from the wool of American Targhee Columbia sheep. It's the perfect yarn for bold accessories and garments that are quick to knit and toasty warm to wear. And it's a roving style, unspun type of yarn. All those other little colors in there, that's so pretty. I got one for him, and I got this one for me, which is kind of a beautiful light lavender color. And I'm thinking definitely maybe something with cables, if this is enough yarn for a hat. I'm not sure. It's 200 yards, so. And then I have been wanting to check out some of this for a while, so I bought 2 skeins of their new shelter. This is called Newsprint, and it's their new marled colorway, black and white. Each skein is 140 yards, and it's spun in Harrisville, New Hampshire, and dyed in Philadelphia. I just love that graphic look, and I think it will look cool in maybe a cowl with a solid color included in. So I've also never knit with any other Brooklyn Tweed besides that fingering weight that I had a hard time like it not breaking on me when I was knitting with it. So I'm anxious to try some of these thicker gauge yarns. And also when I was there, I picked up Jared Flood's new book, WOOLENS. And I looked through it briefly so far, but I can tell you right now that one thing I am definitely going to make, and probably in the exact same colors, is, let me find it, the Redshift. Love it. I need more red in my life. I love the color red. I've always loved the color red, and I don't know why I never buy red yarn, but I'm going to definitely knit that piece. Then the next day when we were there, we stopped back by there because Nancy had bought this awesome green yarn. She bought 2 skeins And then she ended up going back and buying a pattern for a sweater that she wants to do. So she didn't buy the yarn for the sweater yet. She's going to do it online. But while I was there, I picked up some of this. Now this is looking red on the camera, but it is definitely more orange. It's a very tomato orange. It looks red, but it's not red. I swear it's not. It's called Poppy Shetland. It's a Shetland yarn. It's their fingering weight. Pure virgin wool, 217 yards. Needle size 2 to 4. Spun in Harrisville in New Hampshire. They have a store too, so Nancy and I were talking about possibly going to the store. I wish you could get an idea of the color of this. That is not the color. It is definitely more orange, deep reddish orange, and I am in love with it. And no, it did not have anything to do with the very handsome man that was working at the booth. No, it didn't have anything to do with that I went back and got more yarn there. It didn't have anything to do with that gorgeous man. So, moving on, I found this awesome booth, Briar Rose Fibers. Wow. I could not walk away from this. Now, the guy tied it in this big knot, and I wish he hadn't done that because it looks like it's getting kind of tangly here, but this is 550 yards. And they claim on the website that it's a sport weight. Yeah, maybe. It looks loftier than that, but... And this is called the 4th of July. I think that's the base, maybe. Or just this variegated... These are all hand-painted, by the way. And I don't know the color, and that didn't come with a tag, so unfortunately this is all you get. But... they do have a really nice website. I definitely recommend you check that out because you can order from their website. And I will definitely be checking out their website in the future because this is beautiful. I don't know what I'm going to make with it, but I thought 550 yards, geez, for $35. You can't beat that. And it's so soft. Oh, so nice. Then I'm almost done. I did not buy that much, I swear. Then I discovered a yarn dyer that I thought maybe I had seen someone talk about it on their podcast. I don't know exactly. But we ran into this booth on Sunday and I was just floored. Like the yarns are so beautiful. So beautiful. The yarn company is called Primrose Yarn Company. And they're out of York, Pennsylvania. And I picked up 2 of their DK skeins. So this is the first one. And it's called Driftwood. And it's just this beautiful kind of mauve-y, gray, purpley color. And then I saw this and I thought, oh my gosh, the 2 of those together. Oh. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. And this one is called the Wanderer. Wanderer. These are superwash merino wool, 247 yards. They have a nice website, but they are closed while they were at the show, so hopefully in a few days she'll get that back up and running and you can check out more of her yarns. But we were just really loving her color choices. It's hard, you know, a lot of hand dyers, they kind of all look very similar after a while, and these colors definitely were a little bit different. There was one that was kind of a coral color that I was in love with, so I'm definitely going to be checking out her shop in the future for updates. And then the last thing I found was at Scandinavian Weave and Knit. But her, let me show you her, let me first show you the primrose. There's her details. That's her card. This is, their booth is called Heirlooms, but their website is ScandinavianWeaveandKnit.com. And they're actually from the Adirondacks, so I've seen them before at the Remsen Barn Fest up here at the foot of the Adirondacks. And I bought from them before, and Nancy and I went to their booth to get something because we really love to support this couple. They're just the sweetest couple, and their yarns are just gorgeous. And I picked this out because I thought it went really nicely with these. So I'm thinking mitts to go with a cowl. And that's it. That's all I got. What a fun weekend. It was just really a blast. And I can't wait until next year. It's going to be so much fun. I don't know if I want to stay at that same hotel, but so much fun. So yeah, that's everything. That's all. And 52 minutes in, so I gotta stop talking right now, or else this upload is going to take me 4 days. I will talk more about podcasts that I have discovered in my next week's podcast, hopefully. Since I've run out of time, I'm not going to mention any of that today, but I hope you all have a very wonderful week and happy knitting, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Thanks for watching.